At the beginning of the film, we see a man descending into a basement. He places a pickup drum loader down and enters a room where there is some machinery, bottles, and pictures of a child. Then, the man enters another room where human flesh is kept. How strange. The man is wearing a mask, making it impossible to identify who he is. We will only find out later who this miserable man really is. After this, the scene shifts to a red room where a man is lying on the floor. Groaning in pain, he struggles to get up and drinks from a bucket of water, which he finds filthy. He cries out for help, but no one is there to hear his pleas. Then we see a weird, alien-like creature approaching the man and attacking him. It begins to brutally eat the victim alive. Here's what happens next. The masked man enters the room, but not to save the victim. Instead, he affectionately interacts with the creature, then drags the victim away to the same room where the human flesh was kept. The man starts cutting up the victim's body parts and severs one arm, which he throws towards the creature as bait. Now the suspense remains. What is the story behind this man and the creature? The scene then shifts to a car arriving from Delaware, in which Angela is traveling with her husband Drew and their children, Josie and Lucas, on the way to her mother's house. We see her talking to her brother Wes, telling him they will arrive in 2 or 3 hours. When Angela mentions her nephew Noah during the call, Lucas and Josie talk among themselves and call him their creepy cousin. But why? That is something we'll find out later. The scene then moves to Angela's mother, who is preparing a meal for the family, with Wes present. Wes notices some trash and tells his son Noah to take it out. Here, we learn that Noah is arrogant and lazy, which is why his cousins call him creepy. After Wes repeatedly insists, Noah finally gets up and moves the trash aside. Next, we see a man walking along the road carrying barbed wire. At one point, he stops, sets up the wire, and covers it with leaves. On another road, he places a "Road Ahead Closed" sign. Now, we return to Angela's family. The children are tired because it's already evening. Lucas is hungry while Josie needs to use the bathroom. But the bigger concern is that ahead of them is the "Road Ahead Closed" sign. Seeing this makes them even more frustrated. Lucas calls the sign suspicious and suggests they keep following the same route, but no one listens to him. Instead, Drew turns the car to take an alternate route, where barbed wire has been laid across the road. What do you think? Could the man setting the traps be the same one from the basement? Or maybe it's Wes or even Noah. After all, Noah is quite rude. And from Drew's mood, it's clear that he and Wes don't exactly get along. Let's see what happens next. As soon as the car drives onto that road, it runs over the barbed wire. The tires burst instantly, and the screeching sound echoes through the air. With a violent jolt, the car flips over. Will they survive this serious accident? I don't think so. After a while, we see Angela lying injured in the red room. But she's not alone. Her entire family is there, chained up. This is the same monster's basement where the previous victim had been held. It's now certain that the one who brought them here is that same miserable man who has tamed the creature. Angela gets up and checks on her family members one by one, but they are all unconscious. Soon, Lucas and Josie regain consciousness. Drew, however, is more seriously injured and doesn't wake up. Lucas and Josie begin to panic, wondering how they ended up here and why they are chained. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoes in the room. That means they are not alone. Angela quickly tells her children to pretend to be unconscious again, then lies back down herself. The children follow her lead and sit motionless, just as before. Now the same man enters, but he's not alone. He's dragging a badly injured woman with him, clearly another victim. After throwing her to the ground, the man turns to leave. At that moment, Drew, in a semi-conscious state, mutters Angela's name. The man notices but can't tell who spoke, so he leaves. As soon as he's gone, Angela, Lucas, and Josie get up and try to break free from their chains. But they can't. The new victim pleads for their help. Angela wants to help her, but then realizes something terrifying. These victims aren't alone here. Someone, or rather something, else is imprisoned here too. That's when the monster emerges from its cage. Angela and her children step back in fear as right before their eyes, the creature begins to eat the injured woman alive. They can do nothing to stop it. In the middle of this gruesome attack, the victim's eyeball falls out and rolls toward Lucas, who immediately starts vomiting. Summoning courage, Angela steps forward and asks the chained monster who it is. But of course, it can't speak English to answer her. The scene then cuts to Wes and his mother, who are deeply worried because it's now morning and Angela's family hasn't arrived yet. Wes tries calling, but the number is out of reach. Grandma tells Noah to try contacting Lucas, but his number won't connect either. Wes decides to search for them himself, leaving Noah with his grandmother. Meanwhile, Drew finally regains consciousness. Angela rushes to him. Drew is confused, having no idea how they ended up here or why they're chained. When everyone tells him about the chained monster, he's even more shocked, wondering who this man is, the one who has a pet monster. Lucas looks around and notices a bucket of filthy water. Then, looking upward, he spots something and checks it. It's a severed human arm. Horrified, he throws it away, then angrily picks it back up and hurls it toward the monster. The miserable man returns. Drew confronts him, asking why he has imprisoned their family. The man explains that he does it to feed his pet monster. He tells them they must decide who will be the first victim. As he leaves, Angela asks him for water and a first aid kit because Drew has a head injury. But the man coldly replies that if Angela doesn't want her husband to suffer, she should make him the first sacrifice. He says he'll return in the morning. By then, they'd better have decided who will be the monster's meal. Meanwhile, night has fallen, and Wes is still searching for his sister. He informs his mother and son that there's still no sign of Angela or her family. Continuing to drive, he comes across a road closed sign. He realizes that Angela's family couldn't have taken this route. When he gets out to check, he notices a nearby signboard covered with missing persons reports. Turning his car around, he heads the other way and spots a parked vehicle with a man inside. Wes asks if he's seen a car matching Angela's, but the man says no. There's something suspicious about him. The man then explains that there's going to be a dirt bike race on this road tomorrow, and he's blocking it off for that purpose. According to him, some mischievous kid must have moved the road closed sign to the wrong spot. Noticing Wes's concern, the man tries to reassure him and says something his own wife often says. Tough people get through tough times. Wes's eyes fall on a crate of bottles in the man's vehicle. He thanks him and leaves. But those bottles are the same ones we saw earlier in the basement. Could this be the same brutal, miserable man? Let's see. Next, we see this man at home with his wife. He asks her about a first aid kit, the same thing Angela had requested from the stranger. His wife tells him that her sister will be arriving by morning. Could it be that the injured victim the stranger dragged into the basement is actually this woman's sister? From the look of things, it certainly seems like this man is the culprit. Back in the basement, Angela and her family are still trying to escape. Angela believes her family outside must have already informed the police. She reassures her children that their parents will figure something out. Drew removes the belt from the victim lady in an attempt to unlock the chains, but at that very moment, the monster approaches. Drew steps back quickly and avoids it, as the creature is also chained and can't move too far. Meanwhile, Wes and his mother have contacted the police, but the officers say they can't take action until 24 hours have passed. Only 2 hours remain before that time limit is reached. Frustrated by the police's calm attitude, Wes grows impatient, but his mother tries to stop him from doing anything reckless. Angela and Drew are worried sick about saving their children, while Wes and his mother are equally distressed, not knowing what's happening to Angela's family. By morning, the stranger will do to them what he's done to so many others before. Morning arrives, and the stranger appears, carrying a loader. Acting caring, he greets everyone with a "good morning." Drew responds with a sharp, mocking tone. The man then removes his mask, revealing the truth. He is exactly the person we suspected. He tells them they're being missed because he met someone asking about them, the same encounter we saw earlier when he met Wes. Angela quickly realizes that person could only have been Wes. The deluded man then asks if they've decided who will be the first to be sacrificed to the monster. If they haven't, he'll make the decision himself. As he points toward Angela and the children, Drew immediately stands up, volunteering himself in exchange for his family's safety, then beats Drew with a barbed wooden stick. The man tosses the injured victim's body into the loader. He unlocks Drew's chains and places him in front of the monster, taking the first aid kit he had brought earlier back with him as he leaves. When the monster emerges, Drew attacks it with a set of keys he had snatched from the kidnapper during their scuffle. Angela, Lucas, and Josie desperately try to pull Drew back, but the creature bites off his arm. Drew collapses, unconscious, as the monster begins eating the severed limb. Quickly, Angela and the children tie a belt tightly around Drew's arm to stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, Wes is in the car with his son checking maps when his eyes fall on a house ahead. He gets out and walks up to the front door. The one who answers is none other than the brutal kidnapper's wife, meaning this is his house. Wes asks the woman if she might know anything about a car accident or anything unusual in the area. She invites him inside and serves him coffee. During their conversation, she reveals that their son, Harry, also went missing. When they look at pictures, Wes realizes it's the same boy whose photo we saw in the basement at the start of the film. Wes and the woman share a moment of understanding, both knowing the pain of losing someone. They talk for quite a while, and eventually, Noah shows up, having followed his father. As Wes prepares to leave, the woman says something she usually tells her husband. Tough people get through tough times. Wes is stunned. He heard the exact same line from the man who lied about a dirt bike race to cover up the roadblock. Suspicion floods his mind, and he leaves the house. Meanwhile, we see the brutal kidnapper in the basement, holding his son's photo and remembering the day Harry went missing. He had searched through the forest but never found him. Now he picks up Drew's wallet, looks at the family photo inside, and then grabs the same barbed stick before heading back toward the basement, where Drew's body now lies cold. The stranger had warned them to stay away from the monster's bait, but they have been right next to Drew, and the floor is still stained with blood. Realizing the man will notice, they quickly clean the blood. When the stranger enters and sees that the monster hasn't finished Drew, he realizes they saved him. He grabs Josie roughly to use her as bait, but Drew suddenly wakes up and attacks him. During the fight, the stranger presses down on Drew's injured arm, making him cry out in pain. In the struggle, Lucas is injured as well. The stranger then starts choking Angela, but Josie jumps on him to defend her mother. He manages to throw her off, yet now Lucas picks up the man's barbed stick. At the same time, a flashback is shown in which the stranger is searching for Harry in the jungle. He doesn't find Harry, but suddenly a wild hand grabs his foot, the hand of a monstrous creature. Nearby, Harry's bag is lying on the ground, which means this creature had eaten the innocent Harry. Instead of killing the creature, the brutal kidnapper decides to tame it and then uses people as bait to take his revenge. He captures the once-free creature and uses it to punish others, blaming everyone for not saving his son. Back in the present, Lucas hits him with a stick, but during the fight, the stick falls far away, and the monster escapes from its cage. Angela and Josie quickly wrap a chain around the stranger's neck and choke him, and Lucas joins in to help. Meanwhile, Drew regains consciousness, grabs the stick, and distracts the creature, leading it back inside the cage. The stranger collapses unconscious, and Drew throws the keys toward his family. But at that moment, the monster rushes forward and devours him right in front of them, while his family screams and cries helplessly, unable to do anything. Lucas, however, is badly injured, and due to the heavy bleeding from his head, he starts feeling dizzy. Angela quickly picks up the keys, unlocks the chains, and they try to escape. But the stranger regains consciousness and attempts to catch them. Josie attacks him, giving them the chance to run. Now the stranger and the monster stand face to face, while Angela watches from a distance, waiting to see his fate. The stranger tries to calm the monster, but the monster is no friend to anyone. It instantly attacks him, ending his life. The same cruelty he once inflicted on innocent people has now become his own end. Josie grabs a bandage from the first aid kit in the basement's storeroom and tends to Lucas's wounds. They also find Drew's wallet there. Josie and Lucas leave, while Angela stays for a few moments, crying to lighten the burden on her heart. Then they all leave the basement. Somehow, the monster also manages to break free from its chains. Angela emerges from the jungle with her children and sees Noah getting out of his car in front of them. They reunite, finally safe. But the monster has also escaped the house and is now free to hunt again. With this, the film comes to an end.
So, dear viewers, how did you like this recap? Do let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting updates. Thank you.